Hey, what's up YouTube? It is Blacktop here. Long time no see. I guess I haven't posted a video in a while. I actually made a video the other day that I was going to post, but never did. So sorry for that. But I'll be talking about some of the things in that video today. So this video might be a little bit of a longer one. Today I'm going to talk about a couple different things. One of them is going to be, well, I'll just start out with this right here. So I've opened up an eBay page, and it's not going to have a whole lot of good stuff for sale. It's just a bunch of hollows I had lying around. I bought a couple boxes of Battles of Legend, my revenge, and so I have some extra hollows from that. But if you just search Blacktop-YGO on YouTube, you should be able to find my on eBay. If you search that on eBay, you should be able to find my page. And you know, I got some stuff to buy here if you're interested. So just check that out if you would. And let's get into the rest of the video. So the video I had the other week, or the other day that I was going to post, was about Legendary Collection Kaiba, which comes out March the 9th, I do believe, which is the set I'm most excited for coming up, besides maybe one of the other ones I talk about today. And so we have 3 of the promo cards, the all-new cards revealed from the set. So I'm just going to go over those. So the first one is Goddess's Sweet Revenge. Okay, it is a level 6 light fairy monster with this effect. While you control no cards, and this is the only card in your hand, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can discard this card, destroy as many cards as possible your opponent controls, then you can special summon 1 monster from your deck. And it's also got 1800 attack and 2000 defense. Excuse me. I don't know if this is going to be, this is not going to be like a staple card or anything. I mean, it is a hand trap, but it's a very situational one. And so if there was a deck that could really empty its hand, and not gain any board advantage by doing so, you could probably play this in that deck. It'd be funny to see your opponent, or their reaction to you playing this, because you get to destroy all cards that can, or as many cards as possible your opponent controls, and that's just pretty freaking great. And then special summon a monster from your deck. So like it's not a bad card. I don't, and so what I was kind of thinking was most of the new cards from the set would synergize with Blue Eyes, and this one I don't think it's not going to. I wouldn't play it in my Blue Eyes deck because Blue Eyes will usually have like 1 or 2 cards in their hand, and they'll be trying to make a board filled with 3000 attack point beaters. So this card would not see a place in that deck. But overall, oh, and also it's a remake of Gyakuten no Megami. Oh, a card best known for jamming the gun of Pegasus's guards. If you've seen the anime, not the English version, but the original Japanese version, where it's uncensored, they have one of the guards tries to shoot Kaiba, and it's a revolver style gun, or not a revolver, but the hammer it's an external hammer, and so what Kaiba does, he just throws the card or something, and it blocks the action of the hammer. I don't know much about guns, but that's the best I can tell you. And so this is the remake of that card. I like the artwork on it. It's a pretty card, but not anything game changing or anything like that. The next card that was released is Dragon Revival Rhapsody, and so this is one of the 3 musical dragon spell cards. The first one was Flute of Summoning Dragon. Then we have the Melody of Awakening Dragon, and then we have Dragon Revival Rhapsody. And so this card says, it's a normal spell card, and says, if you control a spellcaster monster, you can target up to 2 dragon monsters in your graveyard, including at least 1 normal monster, special summon them. Your opponent takes no damage this turn, and you can only activate 1 Dragon Revival Rhapsody per turn. So, I mean, yeah, this is going to be good in Blue Eyes and possibly Red Eyes decks, although Red Eyes don't run any spellcasters that I can think of. They're more of a warrior-based deck now that deals with equips. Red Eyes kind of has an identity crisis, but anyway, this is going to be a Blue Eyes card mainly, and it is important to note that some of the tuners that the Eyes of Blue tuners that Blue Eyes decks run are all spellcaster type, so this would be pretty easy to use in that deck, and most of the time you're going to be trying to get your dragon monsters to the graveyard, and so this is a great way to revive them. It's kind of like a soul charge for Blue Eyes, I guess. And your opponent takes no damage this turn, but you can still attack. So if you still want to try and have an advantage over your opponent and attack but not do any damage, you can still do that. But it's great if you want to go into those synchro plays, if you have your Eyes of Blue tuner on field, or if you want to overlay into Ixies, or maybe even do it a Link. I don't think there's going to be a Blue Eyes Link monster coming anytime soon, but there is that hieratic link monster, which is like 2 dragon monsters, and so that might be kind of important. It might be some people will be running in Blue Eyes in the future, but for right now, this is a nice, it's a nice revival spell. Is it as good as Return of the Dragon Lords? Um, I mean, it's technically better, because you get, 2 dragon type monsters, so it's a +1, but it doesn't have a graveyard protection effect, and also it has that your opponent takes no damage this turn, and you can only activate 1 per turn, and you have to control spellcaster monsters, so it's kind of situational. But speaking of spellcaster monsters, this is the one that was revealed today, and this is the King of D, and you can laugh at the name all you want. It's a play on words of Lord of D, a card released way back when Yu-Gi-Oh! First started out in, I think it was, I don't remember what it was first released in, but I know it was in the starter deck Kaiba. And so it's a dark spellcaster monster, so there's a spellcaster coming into play. Level 4, 1200 attack, 1100 defense, and the effect reads, this card's name becomes Lord of D while on the field, so that synergizes with the Flute of Summoning Dragon. When this card is normal summon, you can discard 1 spell or trap card, add the Flute of Summoning Dragon, the Melody of Awakening Dragon, or Dragon Revival Rhapsody from your deck to your hand. So, and so I mean, it's a cool card. It's a really cool card. It's a really good searcher. On normal summon, you can search a card from your deck. So that's a net 0 gain. So it's pretty good. But I don't know how useful it'll be, because Blue Eyes is sort of a deck that there's only like so many. I don't know how to explain it very well, but you have to play all these certain cards. Like you can't make an engine out of Blue Eyes. You can't minimalize it. You kind of have to run 3 Blue Eyes, 3 alternative. You gotta run 3 of the Whitestone of whichever one has the graveyard effect that you can banish it, whatever that one is. I think that's Ancients. You kind of have to. You can't really play Blue Eyes Engine. You have to play the whole deck, and I don't know where you would sort of see this card in that deck. I mean, of course, Dragon Revival Rhapsody is a really good spell card, and this can search Melody and Dragon Revival Rhapsody, which are both really good. Like Melody is a great searcher, and this one's going to be a great reviver. But it's sort of a situational card, and I guess that does it does kind of have a little bit of versatility, because if you summon it, and let's say you already have like a Dragon Revival Rhapsody or like one of these in hand, you can either get a search for Blue Eyes, so you can get your alternative on the field, or you can special if you have them in the graveyard and you don't have the Melody or whatever, you can special summon them from the graveyard. It's situational. It's versatile that way. But will it be like a 3-of card in Blue Eyes decks? I don't know. We'll just have to see. I probably wouldn't play it as a 3-of. I might take in 1 or 2, but I don't know what I mean. I kind of have an idea of what I would take out, but right now the way it stands, Blue Eyes have a myriad of ways to special summon their monsters from the graveyard, and so this card combined with Dragon Revival Rhapsody, I don't know what the ratios would be, if any, in the deck. But I'm still really excited about it, because the artwork looks so cool on both of those, and even on this one too, that looks nice. But the promos for Legendary Collection Kaiba are looking pretty great. We've still got 2 more to be revealed. We've got the the Ring of Destruction retrain, and then the new Thing of Critias monster. So I'm pretty excited for both of those. But we'll just have to look for those in the future. On to the next section. The next section is, well, the Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium. This is the second Legendary Duelist booster pack, and of course we've already had some of the new cards revealed. I think I don't know if all the new ones are revealed or not, but so for new ones we've got Millennium Eyes Restrict, Parasite Paranoid, BM4 Blast Spider, Desperado Barrel, Heavy Metal Raiders, Proton Blast. I don't know about Odrama Pajama, but I don't know about that. But there's some other ones in here. I think some of these are new. Oh, and there's some other ones in here. But the things I want to talk about today are the reprints. We got some really good reprints in this one. So we've got, of course, all the Armed Dragon stuff, which I don't know how expensive that is, but it's probably pretty common. Nobody plays them, so it's all right. But we have an Instant Fusion reprint. Probably has a common, I would imagine, or a rare. Or no, they usually make the new ones rares and common. So this is probably going to be a common. Panzer Dragon's gonna be a common. So those are pretty good right there. I don't know. Some of these other ones are just kind of whatever. Toon Kingdom. Okay, this is good. This is gonna be a common as well, and so is Mimicat. And so these two as commons are gonna be easy to get. And I think, if you don't mind me, I'm gonna look here on TCG Player. I think the price for Toon Kingdom is still fairly high. So for those, I mean, Toons aren't a very good deck, but the price for their field spell, yeah, 40, 30, kind of all over the place here within a span of 10, but yeah, like, it's a pretty high price. So the reprint is going to be good for them. And also that, that Instant Fusion reprint is going to be really good. And then you're going to have some other classic cards. And of course, it's not a full list, of course. It's probably going to be about 10, 15 more cards, I would imagine. But it's looking pretty good so far. I bought a box of the last Legendary Duelists booster box, and I might get one of this too. It looks pretty good because the price on the last one went like down pretty much or a lot. So this one will probably be a little bit more expensive because of the nice reprints here, Instant Fusion and Toon Kingdom, but we'll just have to see. So that's all for that. Now, the next stuff I want to talk about is the dark stuff coming out. So we have the Dark Saviors booster pack, which is going to be like one of the Spirit Warriors, Destiny Soldiers. It's going to be all holos, super rares, and secret rares. 60 card set. I don't know what they technically call these. What do they call them? Booster pack. I don't know. There's like a certain name for these. It's not a core set. That's what I'm saying. And you've got some pretty good cards. And so the two major archetypes that are going to be introduced are the Skyfang Brigade and the Brandis Maiden. So let's take a look at the Skyfang Brigade first of all. It's a pirate archetype. That's what most people call it. It's just beasts that are pirates. A lot of them have effects that allow, like, you can special summon it. Yeah, let's see. Level 4 lower Skyfang Brigade monsters have an ignition effect that allows the player to special summon a Skyfang Brigade monster from their hand during their main phase, plus an additional trigger effect that activates if a Skyfang Brigade monster is special summoned while the monster is face up on the field. So that's pretty freaking good. So basically, if you have one of these in your hand and you got like another one, if you have two of any of these or one of these and one of the higher level ones in your hand, you're good. You're golden. Level 5 or higher ones have a trigger effect that activates when they're special summoned, and another effect that serves as a protection against the opponent's actions by either negating their cards or effects, or protecting other Skyfang Brigade monsters from attacks or targeting effects. So yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be pretty good. I imagine it's going to be like along the lines of how the Magical Musketeers were from the last set like this. They were kind of like they're good, but they're not meta competitive really. And I think that's kind of how the Skyfang Brigade's going to be. I don't think it's going to be meta competitive, but I haven't tested them out or anything. But just from what people are saying and what I can sort of tell by this glance at them right here. But anyway, that's the Skyfang Brigade. It looks really cool. I mean, the artwork looks amazing. If you take a look at some of these cards, let's just take a look at what's the highest level one, Lafarl. Let's take a look at Lafarl, just cause. So if this will look at that, that is so cool. It's just like he's got a sword, and he's got like all this armor on and stuff, and looks really neat. But that's the Skyfang Brigade, and the other one that's coming out in Dark Saviors is Brandish Maiden. Now this one was released or was leaked after Skyfang Brigade, and it looks okay. Basically, it all revolves around this monster right here, which basically allows there's not much on this one, but it basically allows you to, let's just click on it. So it allows you to link summon during either player's turn, basically, and then if one of the link monsters that it summons, even one of the link monsters that it summons is destroyed by battle, leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, and this card's in the graveyard, which it will be because you're going to be using this card to summon those link monsters. You can special summon this card. Basically, people are calling it the armor deck, I guess, because that's basically what it is. You have this card, and she's got this sword here, and if you let's look at some of the link monsters here. So we got Kagari. It's basically adding armor to it. And there's the other one, Shizuku. Yeah, Shizuku. And she's basically gets armor and different effects. They're sort of similar. You can look them up if you want to. I'm not really too enthusiastic about it. I'm more so concerned with the Skyframe Brigade. But speaking of dark monsters, so we have Dark Saviors here. The other dark thing coming out is the Lair of Darkness structure deck, and holy cow, this looks really good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna get 3 of these because it looks pretty amazing. So far we don't know a whole lot about it, but it's they don't have the monsters on here, do they? Okay, okay. Let me go to the Yu-Gi-Oh organization real quick. I thought they would have the monsters on here, but the monsters look really good for it. And the other new cards in the set as well. Yep, so Lair of Darkness, here we go. Product image, what do we want? Okay, I think this is it right here. So we've got, well, that's weird. Okay, that's really weird. I'm sorry about this. I should have had this looked up already. I apologize. I think it'd be a set spoiler. Oh, I already had that. Tell you what, I don't know, but basically, while I'm looking it up, there is a really good monster. Is it this one? Oh, okay, so this is right here. Okay, gotcha. Oh, this is just confirmed rarities. Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry about this. I'll find it eventually. It's down here. I really should have had this looked up. But okay, so there's the Skyfire Brigade stuff. Dark. Oh, okay, is this it? Or did I just click on this? Okay, here we go. So, the cover card right here. This is Darkest Diabolos, Lord of the Lair. And so, the whole thing revolves around the Lair of Darkness, which is actually a field spell card that we'll get to in a second. But let's talk about the level 8 Dragon Dark Monster. 3,000 attack, 2,000 defense. And I'll read this card and you'll sort of see what the theme of the deck is. So it says you can use the first and third effects with this card's name only once per turn each. So if a dark monster you control, the number 1, if a dark monster you control is tributed, and this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card. So that's really good. 2, your opponent cannot tribute this card. Also, this card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Again, really good. And 3, you can that sort of protects against kaijus actually right there. And the non-target stuff is always pretty great. And 3, you contribute 1 dark monster. Your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand for you to return to either the top or bottom of their deck. So basically, you're going to pick a card out of their hand and put it back in their deck. Not bad at all. And so you can kind of see it's going to revolve around tributing dark monsters. The second card sort of does the same thing. So the second one is Lilith, Lady of Lament. She's a level 3 dark fiend monster, 2,000 attack, 0 defense. And you can only use the second effect with this card's name once per turn. So number 1, if this card was normal summon, its original attack becomes 1,000. So that sort of limits it because it is a 2,000 attack 3 level 3 monster, but that's sort of you can sort of use Tour Guide with that and get her out if you really want to. And 2 is the quick effect. You contribute 1 dark monster, reveal 3 normal trap cards from your deck, and they don't have to be with different names too. Your opponent randomly chooses 1 for you to set, and you shuffle the rest back into the deck. So that's really good. And so these 3 normal trap cards, just be kind of thinking about that because I think you'll see in a second here what's going to be great about this deck. And I'll give you, it makes me a little sick to think about it, like a cold or something, I don't know. Stupid jokes. Anyway, next one is Arima, King of Wickedness, level 4 Dark Fiend effect monster, 1,700 attack and 0 defense. And this one says you can only use the second effect with this card's name once per turn. 1, you can discard this card, add 1 Lair of Darkness from your deck to your hand, and of course, like I said, that is the field spell. And 2, you contribute 1 dark monster, draw 1 card, or if a dark monster other than this card was tributed to activate this effect, you can add 1 dark monster with 2,000 or more defense from your deck to your hand instead of drawing. So it's freaking great. It's good. It's a good card. It's basically your terraforming, and in tributing a dark monster to draw a card, any sort of advantage is good. I mean, you're losing this card, but you're gaining a hand advantage, so that's always really good. And if a dark monster other than this card is tributed, you can add a dark monster with 2,000 or more defense from your deck to your hand instead of drawing. So of course you're probably going to add Darkest Diabolos, Lord of the Lair, makes sense there. Now, so for the field spell, now this is really crazy. This is a really good field spell. So number one, it's Lair of Darkness field spell card. The first effect: face-up monsters on the field become dark attribute, so yours and your opponent's. And this is important because of this effect. Next effect. Number two, once per turn, if you would tribute a monster to activate a card effect, which tributing has a lot to do with these three effects, you contribute one dark monster your opponent controls as if you controlled it. Holy cow. So you got this, okay. All monsters on the field become dark, and then you contribute your opponent's dark monsters, and they're dark because of this card's effect. That's a really freaking good. Could you imagine, like, normal summoning a 1700 attack point beast monster, or fiend monster, and then using its effect to draw a card, like by popping an opponent's monster? That's just unfair. That is so unfair. And then you get a search because you popped another monster and not your own. But it's only once per turn, but still, that's freaking crazy. And then number three, once per turn during the end phase, special summon to the turn player's field, in defense position, as many shadow tokens, which are fiend, dark, level 3, attack 1000, defense 1000, as possible, up to the number of monsters that were attributed while this card was face up on the field this turn. So, that's even more stuff for you to tribute. The only downside to that is that the opponent, or you could special summon link monsters with them. So, if it's your turn, and you get those tokens, that you can use them to defend or use them for link monsters next turn. Excuse me. But if you give them to your opponent, they're going to be able to do the same thing. But still, I think that's a great trade-off for the first two effects. Or it will be a great trade-off if you can sort of recover from that. But this video is getting kind of long, so let's just move on to the last card here. And this sort of is the new virus card, Grinning Grave Virus, and so that's why I was making the joke why I was sick earlier. Ha ha ha. Normal trap card. The effect is tribute one dark monster with 3000 or less attack, which is of course typical. All virus cards sort of have that, tribute a dark monster with a certain amount of defense or attack. Your opponent destroys one card from their hand and or deck for every 500 attack the tributed monster had. So that's pretty good. So let's say you tribute your Darkest Diablos, Lord of the Lair, 3000 attack. They're going to be losing 6 cards from their hand or deck. And that's really good. If the Dark Monster with 2000 or more attack was tributed to activate this card, check all cards your opponent draws until the end of their third turn after this card's activation, which is also typical of a virus card, and destroy all monsters among them. Also, cards sent to the graveyard because they were destroyed by this card's effect cannot activate their effects during the turn they were destroyed. Holy cow! Like this is a good virus card, a really good virus card. And I imagine all the virus cards can be reprinted in this deck, each at 1. But holy cow, that is such a good card. And just think, so this effect right here. Yes. What was I thinking? Oh yes. So it's a normal trap card, and Lilith Lady of Lament can search trap cards if you tribute a dark monster. So you can do this during your opponent's turn or your turn, and you can set the trap too. Holy cow, that's going to be really good. I think you could make a pretty decent deck. So far, just by looking at what we've got here, by buying 3 of these and then building 1. Now, of course, we don't know. Besides the virus cards, I think there's another news article on what the Yu-Gi-Oh organization saying that they're going to reprint the virus cards. But some other cards that could be in this deck, well, of course, Lair of Darkness is the great general dark draw power card. Draw 2, banish a dark monster. So that's really good. So I imagine that'll be in here. Maybe they probably wouldn't put Terraforming because Terraforming recently got a reprint in another structure deck. But another one people have been talking about, and let me just look this up here real quick for you, is Trial and Tribulation. Now I don't believe this thing's gotten a maybe it has, maybe I'm mistaken, but Trial and Tribulation. So it's a continuous, or no, it's just a normal spell. So basically, anyway, the effect reads, you can only activate 1 Trial and Tribulation per turn. During the end phase of the turn this card was activated, apply this effect, depending on the number of monsters you attributed from the field and from your hand this turn, except tokens. So 1 is draw 1 card, 2 is add 2 monsters from your graveyard to your hand, and 3 or more, destroy up to 3 face-up cards on the field. Now with this deck, you're quite clearly going to be doing a lot of tributing, so Trial and Tribulation might be in the deck. If it's not, it'd be a great card to pick up if you want to make a competitive version of this deck. Just keep looking for those cards that gain you a lot of great effects while you tribute. I know people have been thinking about putting some of the Dark Monarchs in this deck. I don't know, and some of the stuff from Dark Saviors as well. But because the Brandished Maiden I showed you, she technically tributes herself to summon the Link monster. But who knows? I'm really excited for Dark Saviors, and for all this other stuff I mentioned today. I'm pretty excited for those. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, please check out my eBay page if you're interested in some of the cards I have on there. I don't have very much stuff, but that's that. Please give me your thoughts and opinions, and share your excitement for these upcoming sets down below in the comments. And I will see you later. Goodbye.